welcome back to my channel. By now you are used to this mess, but I really thought it was important today to talk about or updating. I think I'm going to delete my video where I showed how to check for diastasis, because this is a way better breakdown of it. So back then I used to think like diastasis just meant like abdominal separation, which it does, but how deep it goes is more important than how wide it is. So you may end up closing the gap like I did, but still have a deep diastasis, which is what I currently am left with. Also, I apologize for the voice. I am sick, I think. So when you have a wide diastasis, which is abdominal separations, that's just like the rectus muscles that have separated. So it's more of a superficial muscle, meaning it's closer to the surface of your skin. Obviously we can see it when people work out, then you're able to see that, right? So in order to close that gap, you just have to, there's a variety of ways you can fix it. I don't want to say it's not that serious, but it's serious, but it's not that serious as when you go into checking your diastasis and it's super squishy, like some women are fitting their entire fist into their stomach. So that's when you want to take things a little bit easier and really concentrate on full muscle activation in the deepest layer. So activating the transverse abdominis correctly, which is the corset-like muscle. It's the deepest layer. And the transverse abdominis is, I used to think that this muscle was all like one big solid muscle. And in reality, it's broken up into 3 different pieces. It has the upper, middle, and lower. So that's why when people say, bring the navel to the spine, it can be dangerous, and I'm guilty of doing it myself, because when in the beginning of all this, mind you, TikTok is the reason I even got educated with any of this. I'm just somebody that's has a lot of body awareness. Like that is truly the only reason I believe I was able to heal my body up to this point. And it's just because I had a deep understanding of my own body. I knew how to turn on certain muscles, and well, not all of them apparently, but to a certain extent, like I truly believe it's a gift of just understanding certain movements, and experimenting. Like I'm not afraid to experiment with movements and modify things that I know I cannot do. So that's why I really love helping women, because no matter your circumstances, no matter how weak you are, there's always a way to get results, no matter where your body's at. So sorry, I went off on a tangent, but you need to learn how to activate the upper transverse abdominis, middle, and lower. And I was trying to look up how to explain people how to not flex their abs, but how to activate like the deeper muscles. And so being the smart person I am, I went Googling, and that's what I saw, and I tried it myself for the first time, bring the navel to spine, and I actually felt something. And you know what? When you see the video, you'll understand why it was actually a good thing for me at that time, was because I had an around the navel diastasis. So for me, it was helpful because I had a diastasis there. But sometimes when you bring navel to spine, you're doing just this. It's kind of hard for me to do it now, but you get back where the wall's a little wider. Back then it was, well, a couple of weeks ago I was able to do it even more. But do you see how, if I move my hand, do you see how you can see that bulge more right here on my pooch? Let me relax. And do you see how the pooch stays out? So some women are so good at that. I can't even show you completely, but some women are so good at bringing that navel to spine that you'll see it literally just like, it looks like a string almost, and their belly buttons literally go all the way in, and this comes out way more. So if you are bringing navel to spine like that, where you're seeing that mommy pooch come out more, then I wouldn't do that. But if you are bringing navel to spine and it's activating something and you're not seeing that pooch coming out further, then you're probably fine. Like I said, for me, when I first saw that tip, and I wanted to share it because I was so excited, you know, I felt something new that I hadn't before. And it worked for me because, like I said, I had around the navel diastasis. TikTok educated me with diastasis, and then I became so obsessed with it, I started doing my own research, and then finally I got certified just a couple weeks ago. So it's really exciting to find something when you feel something, but I think now it is my job to kind of educate on even where I was wrong at. But to say that it's always wrong, I won't say that, because everybody's body is completely different. Everyone's body reacts to a certain move different. There's certain terms that can make your body react a certain way. Or for example, like when people say brace your core, like that means something different for other people, and it's going to make you turn on certain things. It depends how you take it, right? So every single time you hear advice, the best advice that I can give you, even when you take my advice, is to look yourself in the mirror or record yourself and see if you have any doming or any pooching out, like your mommy pooch is just really sticking out. And I'm about to show you some examples along with how to really check for diastasis properly to see if yours goes really deep. Okay, so this is a bit of a weird angle, but I needed to be able to see what I'm doing and then also have you guys as close as possible so you can see what's going on. So you want to lay down on your back and then bend your knees. And you're going to do a mini crunch. So you're not coming all the way up. You're just doing lightly lifting your head off the floor. So we're going to go underneath the ribs and we're going to place 2 fingers down. So place the fingers down first and then lift your head off the ground, and you're going to feel the rectus muscles coming in on your fingers. So once you do that, you should be able to feel like you see how my finger just bounces right up. And it doesn't matter if you have fat, because down here I have more fat and loose skin. And watch, I'm going to show you. You see how freely this moves? I hate to disturb you, but you see how that moves? Okay, so now watch when I lift my head up, mini crunch. See how it still kind of bounces right there. See that tight skin, the loose skin, I wish it was tight skin. The loose skin doesn't seem as loose anymore, right? So we're just bouncing right off the skin just as we were up here. But let me show you where I do think I still have a diastasis above the navel. So I'm gonna put my head's back on the floor. I'm gonna put the fingers right here. I'm gonna put my fingers right above my belly button, and I'm going to lift my head off the ground. And now, see how much deeper my fingers are going. Do you see how it's not as bouncy as up here? My fingers are not sinking. Do you see how it just goes? And then as I come, put my head back down, put my fingers in. Do you see how it just, you'll be able to feel it. Your fingers are just gonna cave right in through the muscles. Even right here, it's bouncing right back up right here. Look at that. So it's not as bad. It's probably like a knuckle deep. So that's crazy. Even though it's not wide, I can barely get one finger. It's not a wide, it's deep, and that's the problem. So when you're checking for diastasis and you have a wide gap, maybe you start putting 2 fingers next to each other, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. At one point I had 4 fingers, 3 to 4 fingers. It was, you know, give or take 3 or 4 fingers, and I can get all my fingers in there. But I never checked really how deep it went. So what you want to check for is how deep it goes, because if it's going in deep, that's a bigger problem than how wide it is. When it's wide, you just need to bring the muscles, the tightness of the muscles together. When it's deep, you have all the muscles kind of weak, a bigger weakness. So when I check here, it bounces up easier. Even though like my finger springs up pretty nicely, I can still feel a bit of weakness. Like it's not as soft as up here, obviously, but it's still not as solid as up here. Do you know what I mean? So very interesting, different findings all over my abdomen. So it's gonna be a bit of a challenge for me to take it there, but I'm always up for a challenge. So really quick, to show you what to look out for when you're doing an ab exercise. These are things you wanna avoid and look out for. So if you look, there's a dome shape going down the linea alba, which is the line that separates the 6-pack. Also, you'll see the mommy pooch kind of just inflating up. So you want to avoid that. You also want to check if you're doing any abdominal separating. So if you look at the top of my abs, they're kind of separating. You can see like a dip, and you can see the mommy pooch really bulging up. Those are things you want to look for when you're doing ab exercises. Your abs should stay either the same or become flatter. So as long as they're not doing something like this, you're good. So there's my video. I really wanted to keep it short, but I think like always I just drag on, which is why I try so hard to not do talking anymore when I do my workout videos. So hopefully everything that I said you were able to understand. I know I ramble a lot. Again, I apologize, but I hope you enjoy this. I hope you'll share it with all your mom friends, because we all need to know it's so complicated. Our bodies are so complicated, and nobody teaches us about our own bodies except for me. I'm going to teach you about your body as much as I can, or as much as at least to get those wheels turning and kind of start to understand it a little bit better, because I know I didn't. That's why I went looking for more help and got certified, and it's the best thing, the best decision I've ever made. And I can't wait to keep sharing this stuff with you guys. So I hope that you'll support me by sharing this with everybody that's a mom that you know. And I'm working day and night on updating my new programs that I'm gonna have available. There's lots and lots of flexible options, so I'm really, really excited to get that up and running very, very soon.